Welcome to Pharma Knowledge Hub. Today topic is Indian Regulatory Requirements Class 2. In this class we are going to discuss about the certificate of pharmaceutical products and regulatory requirements and approval procedures of the new drugs. These two topics are discussed in this video. Okay. Before going to the video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Please support. Now we are going into the topic. Before going into the certificate of pharmaceutical product, we have to know about the Drug Controller General of India. This Drug Controller General of India is apex body in the pharma industry which governing the issue of approval, clinical trials and bioequivalence studies of marketing permissions in India. It is responsible for the approval of licenses which is specified categories of the drugs such as blood products, IV fluids, vaccines and sera. It also responsible for the licensing of blood banks, imported drugs, new drugs, medical devices, amendments in drug and cosmetic acts and rules from time to time. This is about the introduction of Drug Controller General of India. This Drug Controller General of India is also called as DCGI. The major responsibilities of DCGI is the DCGI acting as appellate authority in case of the dispute regarding the quality of drugs. In this DCGI, the standard and quality of the manufacturing, selling, import and distribution of drugs are in India was laid down. The preparation and maintenance of the national reference standard to bring about the uniformity in the drug and cosmetic acts are the major responsibility of the DCGI. Another responsibility is to train the drug analysts and who are deputed by the state government of India. This DCGA was major responsibility to teach them and to analyze the cosmetics which is received from the CDSCO. This Drug Control General of India was advised by the DTAB and DCC, which is nothing but Drug Technical Advisory Board and Drug Consultative Committee is advised the Drug Controller General of India. These DTAB and DCC are both held to form a DCGI. Certificate of Pharmaceutical Products. The Certificate of Pharmaceutical Products are abbreviated as COPP. It is a certificate which is issued in the format for which is recommended by the World Health Organization. This certificate is established the status of pharmaceutical product and it is issued for a single product because of the manufacturing arrangements and approved information for the different pharmaceutical factors and the strengths can be varied. The scope of certificate of pharmaceutical products which is needed by the importing country when the product is questioned in indeed for registration. The certification has been recommended by the WHO to help the drug regulatory authorities for importing the countries. When these countries do not having proper quality assurance, then the quality of pharmaceutical products which are requestized to get the registration by using the certificate of pharmaceutical product. In the presence of certificate of pharmaceutical product, the World Health Organization recommends the national authorities to ensure the analytical methods which can be performed by the national laboratory. However, regulatory practices often vary in importing the countries. In addition to the certificate of pharmaceutical products, the applications to support the drug registration with the different levels and complexity of the considered full assurance on the appropriate quality of the drugs. The main concept of the COPP is to exporting and to certifying and to importing the main data. The main concept of the COPP is the exporting, importing, certifying, requesting of the drugs. And here name, dosage form and composition of the product and the amount of dose will be noted. Information on registration and marketing status of the product in the exporting country was the proper information and the registration will be performed by the certificate of pharmaceutical product. The number of products will be licensed in the holder details. The product license, which includes license holder details, license holder's involvement and manufacturing date, manufacturing of issues and the date of issues. It is applicable for the certification of the pharmaceutical product. The detailed applicant of the certificate pharmaceutical product will be noted to while exporting and importing of the drugs. Also, many times information related periodical inspection can manufactured by the certifying authority is required to applicant. Also, some authorities do not issue the CPP if their respective drug is not licensed. While in India, the CPP was manufactured by the CDSCO and State Licensing Authority. Currently, 1314 means 1314 manufacturing units and 10 Ayurvedic manufacturing units are held in the India, which is granted by the certificate pharmacy products. The next topic, that is regulatory requirements and approval procedure of new drugs. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization and other offices like DCGI were established the regulatory requirements and approval procedure of the New Drugs Committee. In 1945, the Drug and Cosmetic Act was passed by the Indian Parliament, which regulate to import, export and manufacture, distribute the sale of drugs and cosmetics. Basically, Indian regulatory system was originated in 1940. The Drugs and Cosmetic Act was passed to address the sudden and rapid expansion of the pharmaceutical production in the country. Both acts and rules were subsequently amended many times. The Pharmacy Act and the Magic Remedies Act, the Narcotic Drug for Psychotropic Substances, these are all the today most of the Indian health products are governed by the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. The regulatory mechanism which are working in the line with relevant technical guidelines from the international organization such as World Health Organization. When a company in India wants to manufacture or import a drug to other authority, it needs the regulatory requirements and approval procedure of the new drug. By the rule 122A, according to this rule, the clinical trials may be given up in the case of new drugs which is approved and being used for several years in other countries. Under the section 2.4 by the according to Schedule Y, the Drugs and Cosmetic Acts says that drug substances which are discovered in India and all phases of the clinical trials are required for the drug substances which discovered in the countries of the India to applicant should be submit the data which is available from the other countries. Basically, the regulations under Drugs and Cosmetic Act rules, according to these rules, 122A, 122B, and 122D, these acts are appended by the Schedule Y. The clinical trials are further divided into two categories. In 2006, the one category is category A and another category is category B. A clinical trial of category A which approves US, Britain, Switzerland, Australia, Canada, Germany, South Africa, Japan, European Unions. These are eligible for the tracking in India. These clinical trials of the category B was under more scrutiny and approved within the 16 to 18 weeks. The approval procedure of the drugs are mainly by the application of the ethical committee and then it passed to the report of the ethical committee, and this report of the ethical committee should give the positive report to the clinical trials and then the clinical trials will be started. The approval procedure for the new drugs, that is, I will tell you step by step. Firstly, an application to the clinical trial in India should be submitted along with the data of chemistry, manufacturing control, and animal studies. After that, the date regarding trial protocol and investigators' brochures documents should be attached to the application. A copy of application must be submitted to the ethical committee. After that, the DCJA and other committees, they firstly getting approval from the clinical trials can be conducted. To determine the maximum tolerated dose in humans, adverse reactions, and some therapeutic values, etc. These are approved by the human volunteers. This is called as clinical phase 1. The therapeutic use and effective dosage ranges are determined in phase 2. Here, 10 to 12 patients are involved in this procedure. After that, the confirmatory trial will be conducted. For this procedure, 100 patients are needed to be done the phase 3 process. At this time, the comprehensive information of the marketing status in drugs of other countries will be required. At the last application can be reviewed in the range of about 12 to 18 months. The information regarding prescription samples, testing protocols, product monograph, labels, cartoons must be submitted to the DCGA. After national drug approval, the company is allowed to distribute the market product and to consider the fourth trial of clinical trials. In this process, the 1,000 people are needed to perform the clinical trials. Finally, the common technical document format is used for the technical requirements of registration of the pharmaceutical products. This is about the Indian regulatory requirements. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, Pharma Knowledge Hub.